Hey everybody, happy Tuesday, episode 104. Thanks for everybody coming out and watching another episode. So, got some shop updates, and I made a little tool for my sheet metal brake. I got a little Harbor Freight piece of junk, but it works. Hey Rick, how you doing? Yeah, so I think that might be a pretty cool little deal. Hey Chris, how you doing? Yeah, this that little Harbor Freight sheet metal brake, it doesn't take up much space. I've got it on wheels. It moves around real well, and it worked really good for very thin sheet metal. But a lot of times I build fan shrouds and duct work for coolers and stuff like that, and I need to use 60 to 90 thousandths aluminum, and that brake just wouldn't cut the mustard. So I've been having to go off site and use a larger sheet metal brake, and kind of got me thinking I need to fix mine. So I did, and we'll show you that in a little bit. Hey Mike, how you doing? Mike, you had a good meme on Facebook about I think it was a mechanic thing or so. It was one I saw. It was really funny. I liked it a lot. I don't remember offhand exactly which meme it was, but it was good. So hopefully you guys can hear me pretty good. It's raining outside, so metal building. It's pretty noisy in here. We had a couple of days of no rain, but we're right back into the rainy swing again. So it's been hard to get work done on that Olnick, but I made some improvements, but we're still going. Can use Yeah, that was one of them. There was it was just a meme that had a saying. It was really, really good. I showed it to the wife. She thought it was funny also. So, apologize for not remembering off the top of my head which one that was, but it was good. Keep them coming. And so a little bit of upgrades on the Olnick. Made some progress on getting the Smurf back together. Worked on brake duct grills for the cup car. Radiator fan shroud for the cup car, i.e. that's why I made the modifications to the sheet metal brake. So that's kind of a lot of the things we have going on right now. Trying to get this cup car a little bit farther along, and I think once I get some brake ducts in it, hopefully this weekend, I think we're going to go ahead and get this thing, maybe try it on eBay for a while, see what happens on there. Race Junk, I've gotten a lot of views on the ads, but I haven't gotten much conversation. I had one guy who was going to come look at it. He hasn't yet. And another guy that called and left a message, and I called him back 3 times and has not called back. So maybe he contacted me by mistake or something. But nevertheless, going to keep plucking away at the cup car. I have a window net that's SFI approved. That's got to go in. I got a new fire bottle for it. So it's getting to the point now I'm very, very close to having it completely legal for road racing, and we'll get it out to maybe get to an event or something to get a logbook started on the car. So exciting to keep getting these things knocked out so I can deliver a car that is true to form and a good handling car for the next person to really go out and enjoy the car. So went up and like I said, I went up and worked on the Olnick today. Well, first I went out to Joe's and with the 69 Camaro, and we've had issues with his car stalling, and I've noticed on the Holly Sniper throttle bodies, which are probably made in China, that sometimes the machining isn't as good as it could be. I know on my 50 Chevy, over the course of 6,000 miles, the idle stop screw, did move twice. I had to reset that to get to keep the IAC at the right position to make it work properly. So I've used a ton of them, and that was the only one at that point that I had seen an issue with. But on Joe's car, he's only has about 900 miles on it, and I've had to go out and adjust his throttle blade at least 3 times. I've even tried putting some washers to get some more spring tension on the stop bolt, so maybe it wouldn't vibrate. But I just think it was a very loose thread there, and we just couldn't get it to work. So we went ahead and put a Holley EFI throttle body on, which is 3 times the price, but it's American made. And I noticed right away that there's some curvatures in the throat of the throttle body to help low speed idle drivability issues. And one of the things when Joe and I were driving his car around today, I said, remember we were fighting a peanut whistle at low throttle positions, and he hadn't driven the car in a couple of weeks, so he had forgotten about it. But once I mentioned, he remembered, and sure enough, with the American-made throttle body, all gone. So, it's just one of those things. You can get the $250 China-made throttle body that should work really good, and they do work well, but they may have some issues. Or you can step up to the Holley EFI American-made throttle body, which is $850, but has a lot of nuances that really make it nice. They've got an adjustable air bleed for your air intake, for your PCV vacuum, so you can regulate how much air flow through it. And it has a set screw for bypassing air on the throttle body. So once you set your throttle blade, you can use the idle bypass screw to adjust idle speed a couple hundred RPMs plus or minus without having to move the throttle blade and recalibrate TPS. So pretty cool little feature there. And the TPS sensor is degreeable, so you can change the range of your TPS to make it work proper. So couple little nice things on it, and of course, it's a little bit more money, but it does work better. So we've got that all situated. But since I was already up in Palm Beach, I figured I'd swing up to DNR Automotive, where we have the Olnick truck, and I wanted to try to get some stuff inspected. So when I ran the truck last week, it was banging out the tailpipes pretty hard. And when I changed the firing order, it seemed to go away. So I had to call cams and verify the firing order of the camshaft, and it is actually ground on an LS firing order. So, hey Ryan, how you doing? So we had to. I knew that there was an issue because when I changed it to a conventional big block firing order, it seemed to run better, and it shouldn't have. So. Anyway, so I went up there today checking on any of you guys who have worked on LS, you know that there's a sub harness on each valve cover for the coils. So there's a 8-pin connector that comes from the ECU, then it connects to a small harness that goes to the 4 coils. The Holley system uses that same connector, and you can use either a GM coil valve cover harness, or you can use one from Holley, or make your own or whatever. So I'm using on the Olnick, I'm using the ones that came on the truck. So I had thoughts that maybe there was a discrepancy with coil wiring, or perhaps very easily I could have swapped the odd and even when I was building the harness. Things happen like that, especially when, course of the day and interruptions and stuff like that. So it gave me I wanted to get up there and take a look at things, and I checked the coil harnesses immediately. They were good. I checked the pin out on the Holley side of the 8-pin connectors. That was correct. And I did find that when I was, putting the engine together, going back and forth because ducking the rain storms and stuff like that, I inherently forgot to tighten the ground bolt for the odd bank coil ground, which is the 1357 bank. So fixed that. Went ahead and put the LS firing order in, and got it. We went ahead and got it running, and I'll show you this little snippet of a video here. Where is it? This is it. So here's that video. And of course you could hear it was popping in the exhaust pretty good. And that kind of got me a little confused because I've already checked all the coil wires underneath, and we finally got all of them firing. However, there was still something wrong with it. So next I went ahead and went after the the crank and cam sensor, and sure enough, the cam sensor I did inadvertently wire backwards, so that would retard the positioning signal where the where TDC1 is going to be. So I went ahead and corrected that, and here's a video of that. Well, it's running. I get the throttle cable hooked up yet, and it's got a little running issue. I got to figure out. A couple cylinders aren't firing. Might be rusting the fuel lines, plugging up the injector. But it is running. So, making progress. There's the console, gauges and everything. Alright, gotta work on it some more. So, kind of let the cat out of the bag in that video. So, I have it pretty good now. I still have 2 cylinders that aren't firing, so now I have a strong feeling that when I pinned the J1B connector, which is the output connector at the Holley Terminator X, then maybe I've gotten one of the coil wires, a pair of coil wires swapped there. So the one bank, they're all the coil trigger wires are color with a white stripe, but you have some that are like a blue and a green, and you have a light blue and a light green. There's a yellow and a pink and stuff. So it's very simple that very simple that I may have 2 of those wires cross on there. So that's the next thing. But it was 96 degrees at 3 o'clock when I was when I filmed that, and I was soaked, dripping wet with sweat, and I was done. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and being I have to pull the console apart and double check the wiring there, that I'm going to go ahead and I got a couple of little wiring pieces I got to finish. I'm going to go ahead and go up maybe Thursday after work in the evening, because the truck is on the east side of the building. So at 3:30, 4 o'clock, it starts getting in the shade. And right now it's not getting dark till 8:30. So it gives me 4 hours in cooler weather to work on this thing, keep my mind in a better place. So that's what we're going to do. Ryan says that's a great engine choice. Would make a great rig. Yes, between the 8.1 and the Allison automatic, this thing should perform awesome. So the difference between the 366 tall deck industrial engine that came in that truck, which was a 1976 C60, that engine only made 230 horsepower and like 320 foot-pounds of torque, and it was hey Dave, and it was it had a fuller 5-speed behind it, manual, with a 2-speeder in, and you had to, trust me, from driving this thing around, any kind of grades, you were doing a lot of shifting. So, and when we would go to like LS Fest with one car in the truck and then an enclosed trailer with my car behind it, we would get about 5 miles a gallon at best. And climbing any grades, that was, you'd go from 65 down to 40 pretty darn quick. And then you got everybody passing you and giving you funny looks and stuff. So, between the Allison overdrive transmission and the horsepower and torque of the 8.1, which is almost 400 horsepower and almost 500 foot-pounds of torque, that should be no problem at all. I'm expecting the truck to be able to cruise pretty good at about 70, 75 now, and might have to slow down a little bit going up mountain grades, but we'll see how that works out. And the other thing is, with the fuel injection and everything, we probably could get maybe 8 or 9 miles a gallon. So that would actually double the range of the truck. So nothing but good things can happen from at this point on that thing. So we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna try to get the engine wrapped up tomorrow on that. It's time. I need to get this thing finished. I need to get to the body shop to get the front sheet metal on it, so we can go farther with that. So this leads me up to our little equipment segment. This is going to be the tech tip of tonight. So why isn't this opening? All right, sorry about that. I had to fix that stuff. Mike says, wonder how the 366 would work in my Suburban. It was pretty anemic. I mean, it was a big engine, but I was lucky enough to sell it to somebody who was going to put that motor and training in a mud buggy. So I think it'll work really good for that, because it can run the gear ratios really low, and most of those buggies get to about a 20 mile an hour, 30 mile an hour top speed. The biggest thing is where they can crawl through mud and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll work good for the gentleman that bought it. But yeah, I don't know if it'd have been worth it trying to get that thing in your truck, Mike. With the tall deck and everything, it was quite a massive engine. I had never had that motor apart, and looking at information on it, they actually had 4 sets of rings on that piston, so that you could have worn cylinder sleeves and it would just keep on going. So it was made more of a workhorse, not so much a power producer. But your small block that's in your Suburban now probably makes the same power and torque as that motor made. Mike says, I picked up a 400 small block short deck, probably going that route. Yeah, that would make more sense. That would be a much better option for you. So for the tech tip tonight, this is a Harbor Freight sheet metal brake. It's a 36-inch pretty inexpensive. I think they're $300. I think when I bought mine, I got it with a coupon. I think I got mine for like $249 or something like that. I saw tonight when I got this picture off the internet that it is up to $329, but you can still find coupons every now and then and get it cheaper. I went ahead and put casters on mine, and it works very well for really light duty sheet metal. So if you're gonna bend 024, 030, 35, it bends pretty good. But this lift bar is only a ½ inch thick. So when you put some heavy gauge aluminum in it, like I use for building fan shrouds and stuff, I usually use either 060 or 090 or something in that range. And when you would pull the handle up, it would just flip underneath the panel and not bend it at all. Another issue with this little brake is these legs here want to separate. So right now I've got a ratchet strap on mine, but I'm going to go ahead and make a bar with adjustment screws on the outside so I can draw the legs in to keep it a little bit more stationary. So what I did, so when I go up to my buddy's shop and use he's got a big 12-foot brake, and it actually has a angle bolted onto the arm that helps it bend better. And then of course it's removable, so if you got to do a bend in the opposite direction, you can take it off. But anyway, here's mine now. You can see I got the ratchet strap down there. That was kind of a quick repair we had to do at one time, and it's worked good ever since, so I kind of left it alone. And of course, just like any sheet metal brake, you've got your adjustments up here and down here to help keep your straight edges straight. And there's adjustments on here for how your how thick a material you bend back. But adding this piece on here really did the trick. I was able to bend 060 with no problem at all. Now, I will say I had to put an extension on the handles because I didn't have enough strength with that short handle to make a bend on a 30-inch piece of aluminum. But there it is in the upward position. And all I did was I took a piece of 2x2 by quarter angle iron, drilled 4 holes in it, and then transferred the holes to the bending plate, I guess it's called, and made it bolt on so that the top edge was flush. You can see I missed this bolt hole a little bit, so there's not a bolt there, but you can see down there it's pretty flush. On the end it needs a little help there, but once the bolt's in there it'll be fine. But with just that little modification, it really worked great, and I was able to go ahead and make the fan shroud I needed for the cup car. So let me go ahead and show you that. Have a couple videos here I made, so let's go and watch these. Alright, so here's a couple videos on the radiator fan shroud build. Alright, so there's the radiator we're using in the cup car. You notice it's got some tabs here and has cam locks up there, so it's already designed to have an oil cooler or fan shroud attached to it. So we're going to use the sheet metal brake with the modifications to go ahead and bend the shroud out of 065 aluminum. So there's the new piece of aluminum with both ends broke, some notches cut out, some rubber sealant to seal to the cord tight without having any vibrations chipping it up. And there's the shroud sitting on the radiator. You see the clips holding the bottom edge in. We have a flange here that's going to grab the top. There's the flange that'll grab the top with the cam locks. You can see we have our circles where we're going to cut out for the 2 cooling fans. And there's the dual 12-inch spall fans that we're going to go ahead and mount to this thing. Still have to cut the shroud out, but that'll be mounted up, and it'll be right around 3,800 CFM of airflow, so overheating will not be an issue anymore. So hey John, how you doing? Glad you made it. So that's where the fan shroud little deal there. It made some really nice breaks. If you look at the picture here, you can see the edges there. It's got some nice sharp bends. So that little modification to that Harbor Freight sheet metal brake was awesome. Now I won't have to run out of the shop quite as often to bend up little aluminum or steel boxes and stuff like that that I'm building during the course of the day, brackets and such. So really happy with that. It's going to work out great. And I think the cooling fans, I mean, those fans work awesome. I've had them on various builds before. I picked 2 instead of 1 single. That way when the car is running at speed, there's more air can escape through the shroud to so it doesn't build a block up of airflow. But I think it's going to be great. The radiator was in the car, was half this size. You guys remember last week I was saying how this was a 2-row with 1.5-inch divided tubes in it, whereas the one that came out of the car had 2 1-inch rows in it. So basically this has got a third more cooling capacity than the other one did. And the other one with basically no shroud at all, just a fan on it, did a fair job. But when we were in Darlington, it did get hot. So that's the progress on the fan radiator shroud. So that's that. And then I was also, last week I showed you guys the videos on building the brake duct pieces. So we'll go back over those real quick. And I think this is Mike says, I see some of the off-road guys claiming belt-driven fans work better than electric fans. What say you? There's nothing wrong with a mechanical fan. It's less to go wrong. You don't have less electricity usage and stuff like that. With the proper shroud and air movement, that's what you need. And the air movement can be either from a mechanical fan or from electric. The electric fans mainly are because of 2 things. One, you don't have the parasitic drag of a mechanical fan turning on the engine all the time, which, depending on your fan design, can be pretty a lot, So with electric, you don't have that issue. And then the other thing is where the engine location is and stuff like that. So, like on the Cup car, the engine is actually about 8 inches behind the radiator. So obviously that would be kind of hard to make a shroud that would fit in there unless you had a big, huge tunneled shroud. But at high speed, there may be a little backup of airflow. You might not be able to pull enough air to do that. So it's kind of, you got to do what is best for your combination. Of course, on most of the LS engines, the water pump doesn't even have an attachment for a fan, mechanical fan, and those are clutch fans. And I'm not a big fan of clutch fans because they spin. There's no way of controlling them unless you get a pulse width modulated fan, and then it turns into a whole other thing. So that's why we're using electric fans on this combination. On the Olnick, it's got a belt-driven fan on that one. I really like the freed up horsepower and torque. Yeah, well, that's the big thing. But you have to remember, if you guys go back to the cooling system shows we had probably about 3 months ago, one of these days I got to make a list so I can tell you what episodes it was, but I believe it's in the descriptions on the cooling system tech talks we did. You have to have a good radiator core, and you have to have the proper amount of airflow. And my thought is any motor that's making over 400 horsepower, you should be up in the mid to high 3000 CFM area. Now, some of that is kind of creates a problem because a lot of fan companies don't put their CFM, or if they do, they're not good information. But one thing that one of the Spall Tech guys told my buddy Scott one time, because I called him and told him I want, call and find out what the CFM is of such and such part number. And the tech guy on the phone told him, you really want to look at your fan amperage draw. He goes, that's going to tell you more than what CFM it is. And, at first I was like, well, he could have still looked it up and gave you the CFM instead of giving that information. But it is true that if the higher the CFM draw of the fan, the more amperage it's going to use. You'll see a lot of your OEM electric fans, especially the pulse width modulated ones, and even in the 90s, like everybody used to use the Mustang GT fans, those had a 60 amp relay circuit on it. So obviously that fan drew a lot of power. So if you see a fan that they claim only is like 12 or 15 amps, well, you can know for sure that there's not very much draw because it's not pumping very much air. Now these Spall 12 inches that I use on this build, and I've used them on quite a few other builds, they're I think rated at like 26 amps each, and they use a heavy GM 480 I think it's a 480 Delphi connector, so they're made high amperage connectors for the fans because they're gonna require a lot of fan air movement. So that's the thing. But yeah, I agree, Mike. I like the fact that the radiator fan is not messing with the engine horsepower and torque. And in my 50 Chevy on E85, that car would run right about 5 degrees over the thermostat in 95 degree weather. So it was one of those deals that with the earlier fans I had were some Durals, however you want to pronounce that. They claimed they were 2200 CFM each. I can tell you that they surely were not, because the engine would not stay cool. It would work good. So if I went to like LS Fest or somewhere where you autocrossed one lap and then you went back into a grid and you waited for your turn again, the fans would keep the engine running cool. It'd be 195, maybe up to 200, but I thought it was doing okay. And then when our local track PBIR started doing autocross, there we had 20-minute sessions. So we would round robin. We'd get, there'd be 15, 18 cars in the session. We'd go make our lap, we'd get right back in line, have to wait, 10, 12 cars, and then go again. Well, with the Doral fans on my car, I could only make 2 laps around the track and the car would be overheating. So I knew I had to do something. Did some research. Come to find out, it's a misprint from the manufacturer. That 2200 CFM is actually 2200 RPM fan blade speed. So far cry from the CFM that they were saying, and of course they were 12, 13 amp fans. So I went ahead and put the same 12-inch Spalls on that car, and the next time I took it to the autocross, the car maintained 172 all the time. I could make a lap around the track. It might get up to 178. I'd wait the 6 to 10 cars to go again, and by the time it was my turn, the engine had already cooled back down to 172, and it would just bounce 172, 178 all night long. I could make as many laps back to back as I wanted. And I did notice that on cooler nights, I could be on the highway, and I had the cooling fans through the Holly set up to turn on at 170, and I would see that they would actually shut off on the highway and not draw anymore. So that's how you really want to get the cooling system to operate, where it could actually shut the fans off if they're not needed. That tells you, one, your fans aren't going to be running all the time, so you're not having that electric draw, and you're not using the wear and tear on the fan motors as much. That's why I don't like hooking them to the key, because now they're on all the time, and it's just a lot more wear and tear and hours of usage on the fan motors, so easier for them to fail. And but yeah, I think it's going to work great. This is the largest radiator I've ever had in a vehicle, so I would surely hope that on cool days that the cooling fans might not even have to come on. And I'll go ahead and wire it up so that each fan comes on at a separate speed. So we'll set one up to come on at like 170, 172. I like to get the fan to come on just before the thermostat opens, so that it's already cooling the radiator before the hot water gets in there. And then we'll put the second fan maybe another 10 degrees hotter. So if the one isn't sufficient, the second one would turn on, and I know that'll be more than enough. So anyway, I also last week we talked about some stamping dies for the brake ducts for the car. So let me play this little video. I think this is the right video. We can kind of go over what we talked about last week. Cut the race quick. Yeah, so this is the right video. So I showed you guys this video last week, but let's just go over it again. Got the race quick tow strap hooked up, mounted to the frame rail, good to go. Radiator and brake ducts are next. Alright, so the next thing we have to work on is front brake ducts. Got to have front brake ducts to keep the brakes cool when you're road racing. So we have these nice plastic 2-exit brake ducts. They got a nice curvature in them. It'll match the front of the car. And so what I've done is got some red oak, and we've cut out our piece. That's going to be our template for cutting out the front valance, and also going to be our stamping mold for our stainless mesh. So red oak is the hardest thing I could find in the local home improvement store, so hopefully it's going to be strong enough to do the work. But this will be our stamping die, and this will be the mold. We're going to cut this out, and we're going to put a radius on this and a radius on this for the to make the stamping die. And this is the stainless mesh we're going to use. So when we get everything all radius, we'll put that stamping die on top of it, and we'll put it in a press and press it, and we'll have a formed stainless wire mesh that will flush out the front valance, and should look really good. So that's the next job we got to get done on this thing. So yes, that's just to get everybody up to speed on what we were doing. Okay, so we're going to make here's the pieces made up, and I'll try to stop them. I didn't realize that we didn't get any video of, or pictures of them with the edges rolled. I just used a router and went around the outer edges and put a curvature in it. But here's that video of the actual stamping. Okay, so we're going to make a brake duct with a grill that's... There you can see the radius that I put it on both sides, and I marked the top on those so that you can see which one goes where. Get the alignment back right. Pushed out so it'll be flush, or maybe even stick out a little bit from the front fascia of the car. So this is our die, and this is our mold. So we're going to put this in the press. So we set the stainless mesh over our template. Stick the forming die over top of it. We have to put a steel plate so that it pushes on it evenly. And now that we got the press tight, now we'll go ahead and press it all the way down. Till it's tight. That's it. And there it is. Kind of hard to see, but you kind of see the shaping there. So that'll go through the fascia of the car. Really can't see the shape really good, but we'll get it cut out and we'll put them in the car. You'll see when it's all done. Yeah, so that came out really nice. I'm really happy with the way that came out. It was kind of hard to see the shape of the formed stainless wire mesh, but came out great. And this would be really nice to use whenever you want to make some type of mesh grill in a car or something like that. The red oak worked perfectly. It didn't even put a mark in the wood. So obviously you'd have to come up with some clamping if you're doing something large like a car grill or something like that. But it actually didn't take hardly any pressure to do it at all. And of course you could use, make the wood pieces thinner or thicker to make the step in the mesh, whatever you needed. So now I'm gonna cut those out. I'm gonna TIG the edges so they don't fray. And then go ahead and cut the front valance out, and those will go through the back. Now the reason why I made those formed, if I was building the car from scratch, I could have made all this fit flush right in the front of the front of the valance. But being the car's already assembled and there's a large aluminum overlay over top of the fiberglass, I didn't want to have to drill all that out and get it all apart to where I could put a piece of flush stainless mesh behind there. So I thought this would look really good. So that step that's on there will allow me to put the mesh on the back edge, on the back of the fiberglass, and the mesh will come through the hole and just probably protrude just about maybe 1/8 of an inch. And then put the brake duct behind that and then rivet it all together, and it should have a really nice finished look, and just won't look like an add-on. If I put flat mesh behind the fiberglass, there would be a deep step, probably 3/8 of an inch step from the front edge of the fascia to where the mesh would be, and you would see the fiberglass edge and stuff. And I don't think it would look as attractive as it will with the mesh bulge pushing through. So see how that works. I still have some other mesh, so in case that doesn't work, I can change my design. But for right now, I'm real happy with how that came out. It's the first time I did anything like that. The pressing worked out real well. Formed real easy. I could see you even maybe using a mold like that to press some thin sheet metal or some annealed aluminum paneling if you're trying to make some type of shape, or form a shape or something like that. So I've seen it done many times on videos and stuff like that. People talked about it, so I just went ahead and did it, and it worked out great. And I just wanted to give you guys see, so you could see the progress and how that worked out. And it was actually very easy to make. Now I didn't really show it very well, but there is about an 1/8 inch gap between the die and the forming buck, or whatever you want to call it, the outer one, so that the wire could go through and shape. You can't make it tight because now there's not going to be enough room to push the wire through. So when you leave a gap in there, and that gives the form to have the formed metal to have a little radius in there, so it can follow the shape and contours that you're trying to make. So that came out really nice, and so that's more brake duct stuff to go. Maybe this weekend I'll be able to get some time on the cup car and get the radiator and the brake ducts in. It'd be really nice to have that stuff completed. I got a new up-to-date fire bottle, so we're getting really close to having everything we need legal on the car so we can hit a track. Yeah, last week I didn't get a chance to really work on it. My buddy Mike brought a GMC Sprint, like a 75 El Camino, down. He put a 5.3 crate motor in, and I got him a Holley Terminator, and so he brought that in Saturday, and we made all the connections, and it fired right up. And unfortunately, I was busy thrashing all day, and we really didn't get any videos on that, so I apologize for that. But that's why there was very little updates on the cup car. Little 4200 things. We talked last week. I did get some 6061 T6 aluminum tubing to make the new rails for Leo's valve spring oilers, and there was a question whether I could form the 37-degree flare for the AN fittings, and some people said you had to anneal the aluminum first because it's hardened, and others said no, if you got a good double flaring tool, that it'll flare easy as anything. And my report back is that yes, it flared super easy. So now all I have to do is come up with a fixture. I want to make a fixture to put in the drill press so that all of my oil holes are in a true alignment. The stainless ones I made, the stainless was hard and the drill bits kind of walked a little bit, and I did notice that when I did get them to squirt, I had a few going off in different directions. So I'm trying to cure that on the second batch of cooler lines. Hope to work on that maybe this week also, so we'll see how that goes. The other thing that the other project that is fresh in the shop that I'm trying to get finished up is Papa Smurf Junior drag car is back in the shop, trying to get that all put back together, get ready to do some testing and try to get in on some of these races, some of these small block shootouts. Motor was in the machine shop for a bit, and then we made some changes to the suspension on the car. Not really suspension, but move things around to make the car balanced better than what we had before. So I can show you some pictures there. And we built a new set of headers, which are the chassis builder built a new set of headers, which are going to flow a lot better than the ones that were on there before. And now we're going to have bull horns on it instead of having the headers shooting straight out the side of the fenders. You guys that have been watching the channel, you've seen the pictures of the car with the flames coming straight out 90 degrees off the car fenders going out. And it's believed that the bull horns, where you can direct the exhaust up and away from the car, actually creates a little bit more downforce. So we wanted to do that, and so that's what we had done. So here's some pictures of the car, a little update of where we're at with that. There's the rear suspension. We changed the offset of the wheels, and we're able to get the car a little lower to the ground in the back. We moved some things around in the front of the car, so we changed from a 5-pound fire bottle to a 10-pound fire bottle. The fuel tank is kind of in the same spot. It's as far forward as we can have, but like this fuel pump was mounted on the other side of the the fire extinguisher, so now it's all the way up in the front. That's a heavy little piece, and when you're talking in general terms, in a race car that's under 2,500 pounds, anytime you can move 5 or 10 pounds around, it's a big deal. So that was the whole thing we were trying to do. We have new hooks for the front for the front body, which are adjustable, and they have a lot longer fork on it, so it's easier to put the front end on and guide it into the track, so that it's easier to get the front end on and off. We used to have a lot of issues with that. The ones before were very short, so this will make it a lot easier to get the front end on and off. We're usually doing that in a big hurry, and sometimes we'd miss, and so this will work out a lot better. And there you can see with these things moved now, we actually have room in between the engine and all the accessories up front. Last year, when we put the dry sump on the motor, it got really tight where I couldn't even put a breaker bar on the front of the engine and rotate it easily. It could only rotate very small amounts. So this will make it a lot easier to spin the motor over with tools. We put, like I said, we put a new fire bottle in there, so we put a new handle up above in the roof, so you can get to it easy. Some extra bar stiffening in the chassis, trying to make the chassis a little stiffer. Fire bottle nozzle over all the electronics, one at the driver and one at the fuel system. So that's going to work out real nice. With the 5-pound fire bottle that used to be in the car, we didn't have that much capacity of extinguishing material, so we had to only have 2 nozzles. So now we have a lot more nozzles that we can help hopefully put out any fires if we ever have some. Hopefully that never happens. I did get the car back from the chassis shop, and this is a brake bracket. They couldn't get the right brake brackets for it, and he welded it together, and I wasn't really happy with that, so I'm working on that. I really don't like anything on the mounting of the calipers that would be welded. So yeah, he ground that down. I don't know if that was a bad weld or just too thick. I don't know. So I just said, nope, we're not doing this. We're going to get the right brackets, and even if we have to build them from scratch, but we're going to fix that. I'm not rolling like that. Just a picture of ride height, ground clearance and stuff. Now you can see the headers are coming out down at the bottom of the fender now, where they were coming out at the top of the fenders before. And the just cleared up underneath the engine where we can get the oil pan out. It's got a 2-piece oil pan now, so we wanted to make it so we could service the car easier at the racetrack. Just a couple of pieces where he tied some stiffening steel in on both sides just to stiffen the car up some more. A nice small strange rack and pinion that fit the car a lot better. Another bracket weld. And then there's the headers, and now they're a lot closer to being equal length now, and they have a lot less bends. Each pipe only has 2 90s in each pipe, where the old headers, the front pipes actually had 4 90s in them, and the front pipes were super long and the rear pipes were very short. So this is going to be a much better set of headers, going to make the engine breathe a lot better. So that was a big thing to get accomplished. There's another picture with the dry sump tag. All that stuff is moved way forward now, so you can see that there's a lot more clearance, even though it looks congested with the all the cooling and fuel system hoses, but there is a lot more space there. And there's the other bank on the other header. Very nice, a lot of clearance now. Real easy to get to the spark plugs. The old header tubes, this front one went 90, then 90'd up, and then went above all these pipes, and then went 90'd back down and went out way up here at the top of this bar, or right underneath the top of this bar. And I mean, you couldn't even see the spark plugs unless the car was jacked up. and if you pulled the valve covers off and the motor was hot, you had to be very careful because the pipe was at the height of the valve cover, so it was really easy to burn yourself on that header. Now they're all down and low, so that's going to really make working on the car a lot nicer. And of course, there's our turnout with the V-band, so it's directional. We can adjust either back or straight up or 45 degree, whatever we want to go. So that'll work out really nice. Give us some tuning, additional tuning things, and we'll see how all that goes. But yes, I've been working on that, trying to get that done. Oh, here's another picture. I wasn't sure if they were all done. Again, this hose is just laying there, but from about 11 o'clock over to 4 o'clock now, you can swing a breaker bar on the engine. So I do a lot of leak down on tests on the engine between rounds and stuff. And before I was having to ratchet it a lot, but now I should be able to make one full swing with the ratchet and go from cylinder to cylinder on the leak down. So that's going to speed up that process extremely a lot and make it extremely fast to do that and help out in between rounds of maintenance. So that's going to be really good. So that's basically the pictures I have of Smurf. Of course, once I get it outdoors and get it fired up and running and stuff, I'll get a little video of that for you guys. I still have a couple cooling lines I gotta fabricate yet. I've got a panel underneath the car because of the extra stiffening bars. I have to make a new belly pan underneath the transmission. So I gotta get those things done. Get all the wiring, which is already done. I just gotta mount everything, run everything to its proper sensors and get that all plugged in. And then we'll be able to get the front cap on the car and I can get it on scales. I can get the setup done in it, and so hopefully we'll be out to the track testing very soon with that car, and hopefully we've made the proper adjustments to make the car where we need to be. There was 2 small block shootouts so far this year, and the orange Corvette Disrespectful, which you guys have been on the show a lot, have seen. We are 1-1 with them. We beat them once. They beat us once. The run that they beat us, we actually went up on a big wheelie, and the wheelie control kicked in, which knocks the timing out to control the wheelie. But that takes, when you take the power out, you also go slower. So we were actually out on them, and then they drove around us on the wheelie control. And then when the car recovered, we went across the finish stripe in the same distance that we were when the wheelie control quit. So we would have had them beat on that run. And of course, I'm sure over the winter they made some changes to get their car better. And like I said, they've won the last 2 small block shootouts. But we're going to go. We're hoping to go out and make a real statement with the Smurf. All these flyweight Mustangs and Corvettes with carbon bodies, and here we got this big, huge Monte Carlo SS. It's not even an aero coupe, so it's got, it's not very aerodynamic at all. It's a brick going down the racetrack. But we want to make that thing, give a statement and let everybody know that we're back and on top of our game and take home the money. So that's why where we're at with that thing, and we'll make some progress on that thing, get that thing out to the track here in a couple weeks. Can't wait for that to happen. So that's pretty much what we have this week. I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, I'm going to go up and try to do an evening on the Olnick, try to get the little bit of wiring straightened out. I believe I need to check the wiring connector at the ECU, which is inside the console, which means I have to pull the console back out of the truck. Not that that's hard, but that's a lot of work inside the cab of the truck in 90 plus degree weather with the sun beaming through the windshield. So definitely want to wait till it's cooled off so I can go up there and clear head and get that thing straightened out. See, Rick says I know you celebrated a 100th episode a few weeks ago. Another milestone is that you've been doing these shows over 2 years now. Congrats. Episode 1 was July 1st, 2020, July 11th, 2023. Yeah, it's crazy to think that we've done that. And between the live podcast, the live shows or podcasts, whatever you want to call them, and the regular content videos on the channel, I got a notification last week after the live show that we have now 300 shows, 300 video clips on the channel. So it's been a lot of work to get to this point. I still like to get more done, and I tell you the honest truth, in the shop I've been starting to play some of Dave Freiberger's garage, and so I want to been kind of watching his videos and been seeing how he's doing these driveway repair videos, and it got me thinking that maybe I need to try to get better with the camera during these builds. You know, like Saturday we worked on that Sprint, and I didn't get any video at all on it. It happens a lot. Now, of course, some vehicles like the Smurf, I don't do a lot of video on that car. We're gambling with that car, so you don't want to show all your cards. But I still want to show you guys what's going on. Of course, on these shows, I go ahead and give it a little bit more in-depth information than I would in actual show, because if somebody was surfing the web for Papa Smurf Jr. videos, this live show wouldn't come up on that. They'd have to actually search it out to find this. And not that I'm giving that much information out anyway, but when I make a video for that vehicle, I have to kind of curtail what I show and what I can't show. Of course, when we get to the track, we can show the car going down the track and stuff like that. So we'll do some stuff with that in the near future. Hopefully, I'm coming close to the end on the Cup car. I need to get a couple of the latest videos up on that, because I got the transmission build video, I got the transmission in the car build, the battery box, and soon have the brake ducts and the radiator done. And so those will all be things I can put in another 1 or 2 parts on that car. And we're getting to the point where it's pretty much going to be done, so then we can get back on the Vethawk. I was really hoping to kind of have the Vethawk at some type of assembly where maybe I could have just stuck a motor in it and we could have maybe took it to LS Fest this year. That's definitely not going to happen. But I am still going to LS Fest, so anybody that is going to LS Fest, make sure you look me up. I know Scott will have his Le Mans up there. My buddy Mike is talking about bringing his 66 Chevelle up. And, we'll see what other cars we can get up there. I was talking to Joe about bringing the 69 Camaro up. He has to check his schedule, see what's going on with that. But it'd be nice to have a bunch of cars up there, even if we're just going for the show, that are from the shop and have stuff that we've done. So keep you guys informed with that. I'm going to try to get those oil valve spring lube or sprayer bars done on Leo's car this week. So hopefully I'll have them done for next week's show you guys that, and so that'll be ready for me to find some time to head over to Arcadia and get that motor put back together so we can move that progress on. Of course, right now is not very good turbo weather, but once I get the cylinder head back on that thing, I still want to go to the dyno and run it on a chassis dyno before we go to the track. So by the time we actually get ready for the track, the weather should be coming back around to be good turbo weather, and we can finally get that 7-second time slip what we've been looking for. So, keep an ear out for that. I'll let you guys know what's going on with that. So, I think that's about it for tonight. I appreciate everybody coming out. Looks like we had a pretty good turnout tonight. Really appreciate that. Guys that don't go on we have a good turnout on the chat too, but it definitely seems like there's a lot more people watching than actually getting on the chat. That may be because they're watching on TVs or something like that where they don't have a keyboard, but really love to hear from everybody. If you ever have any questions and you're not in the chat, you can always leave them in the comments, and we'll address them the following week. And that's about it. Tell your friends, subscribe to the channel. It's free. Subscription seems to be only about 25% on actual viewers. So hope if you're enjoying the videos, subscribe. It helps out with all that kind of stuff, with algorithms and all that. Hit the like button. That helps out a lot. Comments help out a lot. The comments in the chat help out a lot. So all those things work good. Those are the things you guys can do to help me. We're still a very infancy stage of the whole YouTube thing. Even though we have 300 videos out, it's still not much compared to other channels. And we're floating right around 1,800 subscriptions, where a lot of channels are up in the 20s and 30,000. So I got some work to do. And if you ever see any videos and you have comments, let me know about them, so that I can try to make the videos more enjoyable and more fun to watch. So anyway, we'll go ahead and call it a night there. I really appreciate everybody coming out, spending your Tuesdays with me, and we'll see y'all next Tuesday. See ya.